Hi guys, it's xmas. Coming to you live from Modesto, California. It is like noon, West Coast time, Pacific time, on Friday the 20th of December. And I am feeling a little bit, I'm finally getting into the mood of Christmas. Like I couldn't even listen to Christmas music until like this week. So I'm starting to get into the mood of Christmas, and I can't believe it's going to be in like 5 days. And so I was thinking to myself, as I'm running around like a crazy person, getting the gifts and the teacher gifts and wrapping and putting up a tree and stockings and hiding elf on the shelf and baking Christmas cookies and doing all that jazz. Like I went to my mailbox and it's now like the 20th, right? And so there's like maybe 2 more days of mail before Christmas happens. I think we got 4 Christmas cards this year. 4, not 40, 4. So, and I've been talking to a lot of my friends and I don't know if it's just our age or what the deal is, but it's like, okay, we always send out Christmas cards, and maybe we do because and I don't know if it's like a changing trend where people are just not doing it anymore because you can so easily do it on social media. Just like put a blast out there to everybody you know, and even people you don't know, saying Merry Christmas. And with 1 or 2 clicks and you're done, right? You don't have to lick envelopes, stuff stuff, take pictures with your family, put them in the mail, spend all that money, right? But I always thought that was really charming. Like I remember being a kid and I remember putting Christmas cards up all over our house. We would display them all proudly. We were very, very happy to have them. And I remember as a kid, my mom and dad, they were partners in law, and they were attorneys together in their own private practice, and they would have me and my friends, and some of you may remember this. We would go down into the office and we would lick and stamp and put like address labels on like thousands, like literally, I think there was probably 1,000 Christmas cards, and we would do that for our family. And it was just, that's what we did. And because we did that every year. And we did part family cards, part business cards. And it was something that you did. Everybody sent out Christmas cards, and it was touching and it was sweet. But I think at some point it went from touching and sweet and like a great tradition to like, foster relationships and maybe with friends and family that we love that we haven't been in contact with during the year, maybe giving those letters inside the cards that said more than just from Joe Schmo. It like was a letter sometimes of talking about what had happened to you during that year. It was a great way to stay in touch. But that was before we had email and before we had social media, right? So like, and this is before all that. So like, did it go by the wayside because it didn't serve a purpose anymore because we could do it electronically? Or did it go by the wayside because it got too expensive? Or did it go by the wayside just because it was too much trouble? Or maybe did we get to the point where we're like, nobody sends them to me anymore, so I'm not going to send any out, right? So I've really been thinking about that, like trying to get into the holiday spirit of things. And as I'm like debating whether or not, and this year's been a hard year for us because we moved here to California and we're still living. I'm still living out of boxes, and like my house is not put together by I still haven't unpacked. And so like it was like a big deal for us to get Christmas cards out this year, but I felt it really important because 1, we moved and I wanted to notify people of my new address. 2, I have little kids. Hey Patty, I have little kids. So those little kids, I like to do Christmas cards with them every year just to kind of show the progress of their growing, and it like marks the year. It's like a milestone for us. That was 2. And number 3, I still have lots of people in my circle that are elderly or that are older, especially my family, that like don't even have a computer or even know how any of that works. So like they still do snail mail. So it was important for me to do those this year, right? But now we compromised and we said, we're just not going to send out quite as many. And so like instead of sending out maybe 100 or 200, we maybe sent out, 50 to maybe some just in close family, right? But then, it kind of like went into more than that. I was like, so talking with my friends, like, oh, we're just not going to do it. It's just too much hassle. And then like, maybe we'll just throw something up on Facebook, or like, what did you guys do this year? Did you, and are you changing your holiday traditions? And are we hardening? Like, are we getting hardened to Christmas? Has it become that commercial? Has it become like, we're so far away from the reason for the season. Like the reason for the season is the birth of Jesus Christ, right? So I think that like there's lots of traditions that I don't ever want my kids to have to sacrifice. I always want them to have their Advent wreath. We're pretty steadfast Christians. I always want them to have their Advent wreath. I always want them to have their Advent calendars. I always want them, as much as I hate to say it, elf on the shelf, they adore it. I always want them to have a Christmas tree. I always want them to have a gingerbread house and a book every year. Like, these are things that were really important to me. I had a list of all the Christmas traditions that I started when my son was 1, and all the things that I wanted to continue to do, like, for them to foster this. And it's interesting to see how so many of them have kind of fallen by the wayside. Like, we also every year like to go and look at the Christmas lights. And every year we like to go see Santa. We weren't able to go see Santa really this year because we're in a new place. And like, literally, I don't know if you saw my other post, but like, we launched a post out there to our friends here in Modesto saying like, where do we go? Yeah, mine was kind of missing in action too, Patty, but mine came back. It's finally here. We went to like post, I went on like my neighborhood, app saying like, where do I take my kids to go for Santa, to see Santa and give him his wish list and, take pictures and stuff like that. And like, literally the response was, go down to F Street under the bridge. There's plenty of old guys down there that are, scruffy, if you don't mind the smell of urine and tripping over hypodermic needles. I was like, oh, really? And so I was like, oh, what do you do? Like, okay. So like, that was sad. So I was like, well, but I can't not have my kids see Santa. So like, I think that we ended up like being in a parade and saw a Santa, and that was just going to have to do. Right. But Christmas cards were a big deal to us, but like, I think it's more than that. It's more than that. Like this year, our Christmas card, if you guys haven't seen it already, I posted it out there on Facebook. For all those that I may not have actually put one in the mail to, I wanted to share that with you as well. We moved to California, so we did like pictures of the kids like in the shape of the state of California. And we, and if any of you don't have my address and you want me to send it to you, I'd be happy to do that. Just PM me here. But yeah, like, what are your Christmas traditions that you're like not quite willing to let go of? And what are some that you're kind of like you could care less about and you can do without? Like, it's just another one of those things on my list that I have to deal with. That who really cares, and is it really worth it? And like, does it bring any value? Does it bring any sentiment? Does it increase my holiday spirit? And do any of those bring you back to Jesus and the purpose for the reason of the season? Right? I'm sure there's a million more of these like traditions that I have that I can't think of right now, but those were like the biggies. And like, I just noticed like when I was trying to unpack my boxes and find things like my kids' Advent calendars, or find things like our Advent wreath, or find things like our wreaths, right? Or decorations. And like, we weren't even going to put up a tree. My husband's like, why put up a tree? Why we even put up a tree? Like, let's not put up a tree. Or like Christmas lights outside. Why are we going to do that? Let's not put up, that's just too much hassle. We're just like, and we've got too many other things that we need to be dealing with right now. But I'm like, it's our first Christmas in this house with these kids. We need to start establishing memories for them from the get-go. And like my gotta love her, like one of my favorite moms ever in Modesto. Okay, she's like she's my BFF friend. She's my sister wife here in Modesto. She was just like, I've got this crazy tree. She's like, it's artificial. Like, it's nothing special. It's an artificial tree. It's got lights on it, but you got to be careful because the lights might actually give you seizures because then you can't change the lights and they're like fiber optic. Let's see if I can turn it on. But yeah, but like, so she's like, I can't like not let you have a Christmas tree because that's crazy. You need to have a Christmas tree. So she made me take home her little artificial tree. I don't even know, does this thing need to warm up? Do I need to change the timer? I don't know what's going on here, but I think my husband probably put it on timer because it seriously is so spooky. I'm going to see if I can get it to turn on for you because you would not believe it. Like, I can't, seriously, it's like, it'll start seizures. Your kids will have seizures. But it is the coolest tree ever. And my kids are so glad to have it. And I'm so glad that they have it. It's precious. And I can't believe I can't turn it on for you right now. Oh, wait, here it goes. You probably can't see it because it's not dark enough, but like, hold on. Can you see it? It's got like fiber optics and lights in the tree. So it's like a disco tree, and at night it's kind of bright. It's kind of like Vegas in our living room. But that's okay. And my kids totally dig it, and it made their Christmas. And I'm so grateful for my friend who like brought those out. And my friend like went out and got like Christmas pajamas for my kids, which is really sweet. That was something I wasn't going to necessarily do. Or my sister, she was so great. She sent me like a Christmas book for the kids, and every year she sends a gingerbread house for the kids. So like, those are things that are really important to my kids. And I'm trying to think of there was a couple of things that like, we just couldn't make happen this year. Either because they just don't have those same things here in California that they did in our previous home, or there's just like, there just was no time, or there just wasn't the money this year. So yeah, what are the important traditions to you that you will not sacrifice, and others that you could just chuck it right out the window? And is it the death of the Christmas card? Like, are we done with Christmas cards? Do you send them out anymore? And what do you do when you get them? Like, are you thankful that you get them? Or like, how do you, I guess everyone's thankful when they get a Christmas card, right? Like, there's just something to be said about getting a piece of paper in the mail with your name on it, you know? And I'm thinking, like, in years to come, maybe, Andy, I agree with you. They're a pain in the butt. Like, and I feel such pressure too, because I always do Christmas cards with my kids on them. So it's kind of like, and you know, there's great competition. And there's a lot of competition out there to have like the sittings, like the photo sittings, where you sit down with your whole family and you're all supposed to look perfect and have this great little photo shoot so that you could show your friends and family how perfect your family is. We're so not perfect. We're a hot flaming mess, all of us. So I always find it fun when I get those Christmas cards from those families where they're like, the kid's picking his nose and the dog is like, you know, tearing on Santa or whatever. But so I think next year, what I might ask for, or I might just launch out there, is to kind of say, you know what, I know I get that some of y'all don't want to do Christmas cards, but could you just do me this favor? Could you just send a card, any kind of card, even if it's a Post-it note, something to my son and my daughter? Because I think that they would love to get mail. And I'm afraid that, like, by the time that they get old enough, there's not going to be mail anymore. Nothing is going to be done by paper mail. And I want them to be able to look back and go, I remember when I used to get mail. Like I would go to the mailbox and I would get paper cuts trying to open up the envelopes. So I'm thinking maybe next year I'll just say, you know what, forego gifts, forego cards, forego all that stuff. If you could just like pop a Post-it note in the mail to my son or my daughter, that'd be great. I think that that put them in the spirit of giving and love and fellowship and brotherhood and sisterhood. But that was another thing, like this year, did you give gifts? Like this year was kind of like, you know what? It turned out to be where like you would like, I'm going to give you a gift card and you're going to give me a gift card. So it was just like cash exchanging hands. It was kind of pathetic, right? Or it was like, okay, my nieces and nephews are 25. Like at what point do you cut off giving them gifts, right? Or like putting a cap on the dollar amount, or like my brothers and sisters and I, like, okay, my brother and sisters are in their 50s and we've been giving gifts to each other since we were like born. And we're just like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Don't give me a gift. Like, don't give me a gift. Like, it's just a waste. I know you love me and I love you too. Merry Christmas. Don't give me gifts anymore. Right? So like, where do you draw the line and where do you draw the boundaries, and what can stay and what can go? And what is going to bring you closest to the season? And what is going to put you in your holiday spirit? I don't know about you, but this Christmas tree is putting me in the spirit. I feel like this is not doing it justice because it really is a disco tree. Like I'll have to do like I'll send you a video of it at night when it's like in full effect. Like, what? All right. So that's on my thought today. I love you much. I wish I had a million zillion stamps and addresses to send Christmas cards out to all of you. And I apologize if I couldn't, but I hope that you got to see our card on Facebook or social media, because we are thinking of all of you and we love you and we miss you very much. And we hope you have a very blessed Christmas. And I will hope to send another one of these out before the holiday hits. Take care, guys. Love you. Happy Friday. Hope there's cocktails coming soon, because I'm sure there are for us. Because you know what? Holiday break starts in an hour and 25 minutes. And I don't know about you guys, but our holiday break is like 3.5 weeks long. It's almost a month that my liver's going to really hurt. My liver's going to hurt. And it's going to start in an hour and 25 minutes. Okay, babes. Love you much.